My dear darling, you must be careful. Love is a fire that can burn, not warm. Darling, you must be careful with your heart, for some who love you can still hurt you. My dear darling, you must be careful not to lose yourself while trying to love others. Darling, you must be careful. Some hearts are too fragile for harsh words. My dear darling, you must be careful of those who only love you in their moments of need. Darling, you must be careful with trust. It's not something you can take back once given. My dear darling, you must be careful not to give all your love to those who can't return it. Darling, you must be careful of promises made in the heat of passion. They often fade. My dear darling, you must be careful with silence. It speaks louder than you think. Darling, you must be careful of what you wish for. Love may come in forms you don't expect. My dear darling, you must be careful of your choices. They echo into your soul forever. Darling, you must be careful of the ones who want to possess, not to love. My dear darling, you must be careful of how you see love. It's not always what it seems. Darling, you must be careful not to love too fiercely. Some hearts cannot handle the weight. My dear darling, you must be careful with your words. They can break or heal depending on how they're used. Darling, you must be careful not to lose your sense of self while seeking someone else's love. My dear darling, you must be careful of those who only love you when it's convenient for them. Darling, you must be careful, for some wounds aren't visible until you try to heal them. My dear darling, you must be careful not to let your scars become your story. Darling, you must be careful, for not every kiss is a promise. My dear darling, you must be careful of who you allow to see your soul. It's precious. Darling, you must be careful, for love can be both the reason for your joy and your heartbreak. My dear darling, you must be careful of falling too deeply in love with someone who won't catch you. Darling, you must be careful with your heart. Once broken, it can never be fully repaired. My dear darling, you must be careful of how much you give. Some people can take and never return. Darling, you must be careful when you trust, for not all intentions are pure. My dear darling, you must be careful not to let their love become your reason for existing. Darling, you must be careful with your dreams. They can be shattered by someone who doesn't see them. My dear darling, you must be careful of falling in love with the idea of someone, not the person. Darling, you must be careful who you let into your heart. They can either nurture or destroy. My dear darling, you must be careful of what you hold on to. Some things aren't meant to stay. Darling, you must be careful of what you desire. Sometimes the universe gives you what you need, not what you want. My dear darling, you must be careful with your forgiveness. Some things can't be undone. Darling, you must be careful with love. It's a fragile thing that needs to be handled with care. My dear darling, you must be careful not to build a life around someone who isn't planning to stay. Darling, you must be careful. Sometimes the most beautiful people are the ones who hurt you the most. My dear darling, you must be careful of losing yourself in someone else's love. Darling, you must be careful. There's a fine line between love and obsession. My dear darling, you must be careful not to mistake comfort for love. Darling, you must be careful with your heart. It can be the most fragile part of you. My dear darling, you must be careful of who you let into your sacred space. Darling, you must be careful. Sometimes the best love is the one you give to yourself. My dear darling, you must be careful not to let someone else dictate your worth. Darling, you must be careful when you give too much. Some people will only take, never give back. My dear darling, you must be careful. Sometimes the love you want isn't the love you need. Darling, you must be careful with what you wish for some dreams come with heavy prices. My dear darling, you must be careful. Love can be a battlefield, not a garden. Darling, you must be careful. Some hearts are not made to heal, only to break. My dear darling, you must be careful not to give your heart to someone who doesn't understand it. Darling, you must be careful. Too much love can be suffocating. My dear darling, you must be careful not to lose your way while trying to find love. Darling, you must be careful with affection. It can easily be mistaken for something more. My dear darling, you must be careful with trust. Once it's broken, it's hard to fix. Darling, you must be careful not to build your world around someone who isn't ready to commit. My dear darling, you must be careful. Love isn't always the answer to every question. Darling, you must be careful. Some people will love you for what you can do, not who you are. My dear darling, you must be careful. Sometimes loving someone means letting them go. Darling, you must be careful, for love can make you blind to what's really happening. My dear darling, you must be careful with your choices. They shape your heart forever. Darling, you must be careful. Some love is more about possession than connection. My dear darling, you must be careful with who you give your time. It's more valuable than you think. Darling, you must be careful. Sometimes the ones you love most can hurt you the deepest. My dear darling, you must be careful of the spaces you allow someone to occupy in your heart. Darling, you must be careful. Love doesn't always mean the same thing to everyone. My dear darling, you must be careful not to give too much of yourself away. Darling, you must be careful. Love can be an addiction, and sometimes it's hard to break free. My dear darling, you must be careful when you love someone. They can either build you up or tear you down. Darling, you must be careful with your emotions. They can be your guide or your downfall. My dear darling, you must be careful with how you love. Too much can be just as damaging as too little. Darling, you must be careful who you allow into your heart. They can either heal or hurt it. My dear darling, you must be careful. Sometimes the best thing you can do is walk away. Darling, you must be careful, for love doesn't always come with a happy ending. My dear darling, you must be careful of who you trust, for trust is a sacred bond. Darling, you must be careful not to build your life around someone who won't stay. My dear darling, you must be careful. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Darling, you must be careful, for love can blind you to the truth. My dear darling, you must be careful. Love can heal, but it can also break you. Darling, you must be careful with your heart. Some people only want to borrow it, not keep it. My dear darling, you must be careful. Not everyone who loves you truly understands you. Darling, you must be careful. Love can be both your greatest strength and your deepest wound. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. My dear darling, you must be careful. Too much love can drown even the strongest of hearts. Darling, you must be careful with your trust. It's a gift that should be given wisely. My dear darling, you must be careful. Sometimes love isn't enough to fix what's broken. Darling, you must be careful who you let in. Some hearts are not meant for healing. My dear darling, you must be careful of the damage that silence can cause. Darling, you must be careful with your feelings. They can sometimes cloud your judgment. My dear darling, you must be careful. Love can both build and destroy. Darling, you must be careful with your emotions. Don't let them rule your life. My dear darling, you must be careful. Sometimes love isn't as pure as it seems. Darling, you must be careful not to give your love to someone who doesn't value it. My dear darling, you must be careful. Some hearts were never meant to be healed. Darling, you must be careful. Love is beautiful, but often unpredictable. My dear darling, you must be careful. Sometimes it's better to let go than to hold on. Darling, you must be careful not to lose yourself in someone else's love. My dear darling, you must be careful. Love can be both your strength and your weakness. Darling, you must be careful. Some hearts are meant to love, but not to stay. My dear darling, you must be careful. Love can be beautiful, but it can also be fleeting. Darling, you must be careful with your heart. Once broken, it's never truly the same. My dear darling, you must be careful. Love can blind you to the truth of who someone really is. Darling, you must be careful. Sometimes love is the most painful thing you can experience.